Welcome to our webinar on Modbus client application with SIPROTEC 5. You will receive valuable information designed especially for sales personnel and engineers in process automation, pharmaceutical, data center, TSO and DSO who wants to enhance their monitoring capability and improve operational efficiency. My name is François Simon. I'm happy to be your moderator for this webinar. Today, I'm giving you a virtual tour through the webinar for Modbus client application with SIPROTEC 5. We will show how to extend SIPROTEC 5 with more input-output, explain the possibility in electrical generation and industries like thermal protection, show possibility in high voltage and middle voltage grid application. And we will answer your questions. And since we receive one question rather often, yes, we will record the webinar and make the recording and the slide available to you, all registered participants. If you already joined one of our last electrification automation webinar, you already know the Q&A field in this application. Please type your question to the presenter and we will be your voice and answer them directly after this presentation. And just in case you are in full mode screen, so press escape to see the Q&A. And now let me introduce ourselves. Hussein is a product lifecycle manager for communication protocol and security domain of SIPROTEC protection equipment. He will be mainly conducting the presentation about Modbus client application and what Siemens offer in this regard. And I'm François Simon. I'm promoter for communication protocols and cybersecurity for protection device SIPROTEC 5. After the presentation is over, we will go through the Q&A with Hussein. Hussein, the stage is yours.
Thank you, François. We will talk about the new Modbus client functionality in SIPROTEC 5 protection devices. Let's look at what kind of new possibilities are now possible with SIPROTEC 5 using the new Modbus client feature. In general, it is possible first extend the binary input-outputs of the protection device and add more monitoring sensors to supervise the environmental conditions, and even integrate some of those thermal sensors into the actual protection application. In case of energy generation, you can also drive your turbine with the data provided by SIPROTEC 5. Or let's say for grid operators, when you have a legacy install base that can only connect with limited serial connection, you can integrate the old install base into a new state-of-the-art system using SIPROTEC 5. You can all benefit from those exciting new possibilities without really spending any budget. You just need upgrading SIPROTEC 5 device firmware to the latest version. So let's give those examples a little bit of a closer look. In this example, you can extend the input and output capabilities of SIPROTEC 5 device. SIPROTEC 5 Compact Class 7SX800 is a great product for medium voltage systems, where there are physical size constraints. It has a maximum of 14 binary outputs and 11 binary outputs. Imagine a scenario where you need more digital inputs. The reason could be that your application might need more signals, interlocks, or annunciation options. Or sometimes it is possible that your application evolves by time and you might have ended up with a limited I/O configuration of SIPROTEC 5 Compact Class device. In such cases, it is very simple and straightforward to increase the number of I/O of 7SX800 using Modbus client or let's say SICAM I/O unit. Let's add another SICAM XV device into the cabinet and connect the cabling. Without too much effort, SIPROTEC 5 7SX800 will use 7XV device's binary inputs and outputs as its own using Modbus client functionality. Now, it is possible to use those newer 6 more binary inputs or outputs for interlocking purposes, logging, or annunciation. It is worth to mention that you don't actually need an Ethernet-based connection. It is also possible to use serial connection if budget is a concern. And as you might as well guess, this application is not limited to 7SX800, nor 7XV binary I/O unit. So you can connect any SIPROTEC 5 device to any Modbus capable I/O unit. The same idea can be applied for the environmental analog measurements. Adding 7xV analog unit to compact device makes it possible to connect temperature, humidity, pressure, or any field sensor. A great example for this could be the cable joint temperature measurement. In medium voltage, it is generally a source of failure when there is a loose joint or a worn-out installation in the cable compartment of the cubicle. Such imperfections in time cause heat building up and the joints evolve to bigger failures. However, such heating issues can be detected with temperature monitoring before it really becomes a more catastrophic failure. In this context, using Modbus in SIPROTEC 5 to monitor cable joint temperature will give predictive maintenance possibilities, which at the end of the day increases reliability, uptime of the grid service, and which might supply to the critical infrastructure like hospitals and reduce the risk of damage to physical equipment. The same monitoring applications can be extended to high voltage JS systems, where internal monitoring of the overall switchgear gets more critical as the size of the installation increases. SIPROTEC 5 gives a very flexible and scalable solution with Modbus client. So you can significantly improve your thermal protection stage in SIPROTEC 5. If you are an industrial user or maybe operating in generation industry, it is possible to do even more than simply monitoring the temperature, but make the temperature an integral part of the protection. The load conditions of an electrical machine puts certain stress in the equipment's operational safety. The machine in this context can be a motor in an industrial application, or a generator in a power plant, or simply a transformer in the grid or in the private premise. SIPROTEC protection devices in such scenarios model the thermal withstands of the machine by monitoring the current and the approximate total energy accumulated in the device. And according to this thermal model, a preventive action can be triggered, such as activating a more aggressive cooling method, or load balancing the system if only certain machine is thermally overloaded. SIPROTEC 5 comes batteries included for such thermal applications. But thermal modeling, only based on the current measurement, does not always lead to most accurate results, simply because there might be harmonics involved in the current, which is filtered down in the normal modeling, or environmental conditions may vary during the day. Sometimes after the long run times of the machine, thermal characteristics also alter. To make best out of thermal protection, an actual measurement is necessary to remove the environmental dynamics from the equations and have direct measurements of the temperature. This is where the Modbus client functionality comes into the picture. It is straightforward to install a SICAM analog I/O unit or any other choice of device of yours and connect thermal sensors directly to SIPROTEC 5 device. The connected sensors data is directly fed into the thermal application side of the SIPROTEC 5. With that, you will have more than simple monitoring of the temperature, but a complete improved thermal protection stage, which is field proven in thousands of SIPROTEC 5 install base. The same improvement can be implemented for transformers, motors, generators, or Peterson coils. Using Modbus client in SIPROTEC 5 will give increased lifetime of the equipment with preventive maintenance capabilities. You can also make turbine control much flexible and scalable. Besides monitoring the thermal withstand of the generator, you can also assist the turbine controller to drive the generator in a more flexible way. Turbine controllers need voltages, currents, and frequency to drive the generator. Such information is then conventionally carried out to the turbine controller using physical wiring from the instrument transformers. Sometimes, in addition to instrument transformers, extra transducers are installed in between to meet input criteria of the turbine controller. Such conventional mechanism causes a lot of wiring harness, and devices in between that might act as a single point of failure. Instead of dealing such complexity, it is possible to take advantage of the fact that nearly all modern turbine controllers have Modbus servers already embedded. This allows to utilize Modbus client in SIPROTEC 5 and provide necessary voltage current data to turbine controller over Modbus. Thanks to very fast response times of SIPROTEC 5 Modbus client, it is possible to update such field in data in turbine controller down to 50 milliseconds of intervals. All these extra harness in between the instrumentation transformers and the turbine controller will be eliminated and digitalized, and you will end up with a less error-prone, more flexible, and future-proof control scheme. It is also worth to mention here, you can also combine the improved thermal modeling of the generator with the digitalized turbine controller, and you can stack up the benefits. One of the great benefits that comes with SIPROTEC 5's Modbus client is that you can integrate your old legacy field devices to a new modern substation system. For a grid operator, there are some substations that you would be better to be renovated instead of just installing any complete substation. One of the reasons could be simply because the substation is too important. So less downtime is better than investing longer time period of complete renewal of the substation, or vice versa. The substation is not too critical, so it may not be worth to invest big budget to renovate it. For grid operators who are seeking for the sweet spot, Modbus client functionality in SIPROTEC 5 enables new possibilities. In such brownfield applications, the existing legacy devices at minimum support Modbus protocol, either over Ethernet, or there is no Ethernet, there is at least serial bus. Such devices can easily be integrated to SIPROTEC 5 device, and SIPROTEC 5 device can act like a bake controller in this regard, to control the existing field devices and to convert legacy devices communication to a modern substation automation system like IEC 650 based control system. SIPROTEC 5's Modbus client is extremely flexible. A single SIPROTEC 5 Modbus client can collect up to 20 different field devices and communicate up to 1,000 different signals. Such flexibility ensures that all of needs that might pop up during the design phase can be satisfied by SIPROTEC 5 device. So you don't need to have complete to replace legacy device at field. So you do not have to rewire everything from scratch. You will not have to retest each and every protection scheme from scratch. You will only have an extension of a modern substation automation system over the existing legacy install base. SIPROTEC does not only contain Modbus client, but also include Modbus server feature. This allows a unique opportunity to establish device-to-device communication inside a substation, or even in between substations. Combined with the advanced CFC-based logic control capabilities, this allows SIPROTEC 5 device to act as an advanced controller that can orchestrate control applications. An example of a grid-wide application could be a distribution automation application where 7 SX800 devices are installed as reclosers. Such SIPROTEC 5-based reclosers can collect different fault information from the fault passage indicators or other reclosers, process them and define the fault direction, and issue isolation commands to the recloser to isolate the faulted path of the grid, and rest of the distribution line can be re-energized in minutes, sometimes even in seconds. Such applications provide faster recovery time so that consumers won't be left de-energized unnecessarily, and also precise information about the location of the fault, so the field personnel can reach out to exact location and maintain the faulty area. Unlike the distributed application, central distribution automation applications are also provided with EMS or DMS systems. In such case, it is also very convenient to integrate SIPROTEC 5 to existing system as well. In single substation, where there are multiple sources of generators and loads, it is desired to control the supply and demand. This can be in the form of disconnecting the loads where generation is not enough, or increase the generation by energizing more generators. Such a load shedding or dispatching can be established by using Modbus client and server functionality. SIPROTEC 5 devices will exchange the necessary information over Modbus and decide which load to disconnect or which generation to connect dynamically according to the operational conditions. Simply due to operational prerequisites, it might be desired to have one generation source feeding the loads at a time. A very well-known example for this is an industrial premise having a grid connection and a backup generator. It is generally not desired to have the generator connected to the grid and supply at the same time. Whenever the source changes, the substation should open or close necessary circuit breakers without disturbing the energy flow to the load. Such automatic transfer switch scheme is also achieved in Modbus client server feature in SIPROTEC 5. Unlike OTS, ATS dedicated devices, with SIPROTEC 5 Modbus feature, you can have a very highly customizable solution fitting to exact your needs. I hope this presentation will give you some ideas how to improve your application with Modbus client. Thank you.
Thank you, Hussein. That has been an interesting session with insights into Modbus. So let me check for questions from the auditorium. I will read each question aloud and hopefully you can answer them. So here's the first question for you, Hussein. What is the cost for the additional protocol Modbus client?
François, Modbus client is coming without any additional function cost points. All you need is to upgrade firmware to the latest version, but since version 9.90, the feature is available for everyone to use.
Yeah, perfect. The next question is, what type of Modbus is supported? TCP or RTU?
We support in SIPROTEC 5 both Modbus RT flavor and Modbus TCP flavor, both in the client and the server direction. So all and everything is supported.
Yeah, perfect. So the next is, if I understand well, SIPROTEC 5 acts as Modbus client, how to configure the relay to get information from the various Modbus servers.
That's interesting because we simplified for you the configuration with predefined templates. For example, for CCAM.io unit, and we have already created Modbus configuration files with pre-selected Modbus addresses and signals according to the IEC 658-5. So ask us or look at the CMS portal for the nice application note for the engineering of Modbus client in SIPROTEC 5. You can find in download of this webinar.
Perfect. Now, when I want to use SIPROTEC 5 device in my existing substation, will there be any incompatibilities in terms of Modbus engineering?
That's another great question. The implementation of Modbus in SIPROTEC 5 is backwards compatible and very flexible to fit any demand of various flavors of Modbus. So there will be no incompatibilities to support existing brownfield application.
Okay, good. So can I use SIPROTEC 5 as RTU to collect field information over Modbus and provide the remote over another protocol?
So this is very likely possible, but the primary purpose is not such applications due to scalability requirements of RTU applications. For small and niche application, it is possible as, let's say, interim solution, but for full-fledged RTU application, it is still suggested to use a dedicated RTU like CCAM 8000.
Yeah, okay. So, and the next question is, how many signals or device can I connect to SIPROTEC 5 Modbus client?
Yeah, in the presentation, I briefly touched the topic, but when we get into details, Modbus implementation is very flexible. So it is possible to work 1000 Modbus signals per Modbus client. The maximum number of servers that can be connected is 20 per TCP and 10 for serial client. The maximum number of mentioned is dynamic with the read frequency of each signal. So the faster you read the signals, the less data points are available. As per design, there is a dynamic trade-off in between the signal speed and the total signal count. So for exact details, it is suggested to check the application note provided in the handout documents.
Yes, and the next question is, it is also possible to send commands from SIPROTEC 5 using Modbus client?
Yes, for control application it is possible, and it's quite versatile as well. So the commands can be triggered using CFC logic blocks tailored to the needs of individual applications. Such application details are again provided in the application note, and I highly suggest to check it.
Yeah, perfect. We are through. Thank you. So, dear auditorium, thanks a lot for your question, and thanks to you, Hussein, for all the answers.
Thank you.
Still open question in the Q&A queue will be answered by email. And if questions come to your mind later, please contact us. The access to the recording and the slide will be sent to all participants. In the upper right hand corner, you find the application note for Modbus client to create your template in IEC 61850. As the download area is not visible in full screen mode, you might want to press escape. So, thank you very much for your active participation. It was a pleasure for me to guide you through this session about Modbus client in SIPROTEC 5. And I'm looking forward to meeting you soon in one of our next webinars. Stay safe and sound, take care, and goodbye.